A year ago, UConn came into Bloomington as the top-ranked team in the nation and dispatched the Hoosiers 88-80. After starting 11-0 this year against a cupcake schedule, the Huskies have fallen off recently and are out of the top 25 for the first week since around, the time of Christ. UConn hosts the Hoosiers Thursday on CBS in IU's highly anticipated final non-conference game of the season. After heading to Connecticut, the Big Ten schedule heats right up for the Hoosiers. For starters, Kelvin Sampson and the boys are bound to get a chilly response from the other Assembly Hall, the home of the Fighting Illini, on Tuesday. Then it's back to the real Assembly Hall, the one where Eric Gordon will be playing next year, where the Hoosiers will host Michigan as a tune-up for their next game, and what's sure to be a good one against the class of the Big Ten this year, the Wisconsin Badgers.
While Robert Montgomery Nite is offsetting all-time win records, another controversial ghost of Bloomington's past hasn't received nearly as much attention. Mike Davis, now coaching at UAB, is off to a 10-7 start down south in Conference USA. Despite losing to defending champs Florida by only 5, UAB has several more unimpressive losses to teams such as Wyoming, Western Kentucky, UTEP, Old Dominion, and Virginia Commonwealth. However, the UAB Blazers do have one notable win over a familiar opponent, an 88-81 victory over Minnesota. And if you're wondering about whatever happened to Mike Davis Jr., he has in fact played 3 games this year to the tune of 3 points per game. And if you're interested in watching UAB's upcoming games against Conference USA powerhouses such as Southern Miss, Tulsa, or Rice, well, you're out of luck, because they aren't exactly nationally televised.
For the IU wrestling team, this preseason was full of honors and expectations. Early in the year, the Hoosiers have been living up to the hype on the path to what could be one of their best seasons in years. IU has dominated their competition thus far and boasts an 8-0 record. But even with their national rankings of 15, 5 other Big Ten teams are ranked higher than the Hoosiers. The real test begins Friday when they host Purdue and open up the Big Ten season in what undoubtedly is the best wrestling conference in the country.
In the waters of the Councilman Billingsley Aquatic Center, you'll find another ranked IU sports program, the swim teams. Even with a 3-3-1 record, the men's squad is ranked 15th nationally. Last Saturday, they battled to their first tie in the 84-year program history against 12th-ranked Michigan. The women's side has been faring even better lately. The Hoosiers are ranked 12th nationally, have a 4-0 record, and recently came in first place at the Michigan Invitational. This weekend, they'll host Missouri, then begin the World Championship selection camp.
Despite a disappointing finish to the season, many of the men's soccer players are having successful off-seasons. Freshman midfielders Ofori Sarkodie and Dan Kelly, along with Hoosier alums Josh Tudela and John Michael Hayden, have participated in recent soccer combines and training camps. Sarkodie was one of the 20 players named to the under-20 men's U.S. national team. Now, Kelly competed with the U.S. under-18 national team in California the first week of the year. Hayden was selected with the 13th overall pick in the MLS draft by reigning champion Houston Dynamo, making him the 8th player in IU history to be drafted in the first round. Big Ten Player of the Year Josh Tudela was selected in the 2nd round and 20th overall to the LA Galaxy. Now, in his time at IU, he's had a share of talented midfield partners playing with him, but none compare who he'll be playing with in LA, Mr. David Beckham. So IU upcoming events. Well, as the show winds down, let's take a look ahead at the upcoming week for IU sports. On Friday, the men's wrestling team will be hosting Purdue in their first Big Ten matchup of the season. An extremely difficult conference schedule follows.
On Saturday, the Hoosier basketball team will be in Storrs, Connecticut, looking to finally pick up a win in their series with UConn. Meanwhile, the men's and women's swim teams will be at home hosting Missouri, and the men's tennis team will also be in Bloomington hosting Toledo.
The women's team will also be competing Saturday. They'll be on the road in Kansas to take on the Jayhawks. Also Saturday, the men's and women's track teams will be in Bloomington competing in the Indiana Team Classic.
On Sunday, former women's basketball coach Sharon Versup makes her return to Assembly Hall. IU will be looking to make it bittersweet and even up the season series against the Boilers.
On Sunday, the wrestling team will continue their Big Ten season in Champaign as they take on Illinois. And finally on Sunday, the women's swim team will be in Indianapolis competing in the World Championship selection camp.
Definitely a big game on Saturday for the men, but also the girls are playing against the Boilers. That's always a big game.
Yeah, but Andy, personally, I'm going to be thinking about the NFL playoffs. Go Colts. I hope the Bears lose.
Bears.
but I will keep an eye on IU. So make sure you check us out right here on IUS TV. We'll update all week on IUSTV.com. Thanks for watching this edition of Hoosier Sports Night. For Andy Tucholsky, I'm Chris Hopper. We'll see you next time.